Everybody other mics? All right, everyone, if you could please silence your cell phones. We are getting started. All right, the time is now 6:31. We are in session. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, September 25th, 2025. At 6:30 p.m. at City Hall, 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, where a quorum of the City Council will be present. All agenda items are subject to action. You could join us at the Zoom meeting found in the agenda. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by audio as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting if providing comments in person and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing the city secretary at cityofsandyoaks.com or by calling 210-607-0834 speaking telephonically or by audio. An audio recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. Madam Secretary, may I have a call to order, please?
Alderman Bellinger,
Here.
Alderman Tremblay,
Here.
Alderman Rapino,
Not present.
Alderwoman CJ Walker. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Madero.
Here.
City Secretary present, and then we have a quorum.
City attorney is available. He's here as well. Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Citizens to be heard. People wishing to speak may sign up with the city secretary in the time and manner indicated above. Do we have anybody present to speak? No? Okay. All right, so then we're going to move right along. Mayor and administrator announcements. At this time, I want to talk about the National Night Out. We do have that coming up pretty quickly on October 7th. That's going to run from about 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you're wanting to volunteer, we're going to be starting about 5:30. Plan is to have hot dogs, sodas, chips, some fun activities for kids. We're going to have a moon bounce. And I think there's going to be some face painting, so it's going to be a really nice opportunity. So if you want to come out, meet the people on council, meet the police department, really that's what it's for, to meet law enforcement. But that's to include PD, animal control, fire department, sheriffs. We're going to have it all out there, hopefully for the length of time that we need to, for the entire time, excuse me, just because it's a good opportunity to connect with those folks and really see who's in your community and engage with them. As far as other announcements outside of that, October 7th, that is a Tuesday. Yes, sir. I don't think there's very much else as far as administrator announcements, so we will go ahead and close that and move right along. Consent agenda, all matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
No questions. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Alderman Tremblay to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Okay, let's move right along to new business. Discuss and or possible action by record vote on amending the ordinance 2025-259, adopting the levying of ad valorem taxes. Oh, she's still putting it, okay, gotcha.
So we're skipping the unfinished business?
Let's, well, I was gonna kind of start with new and then work to the back. Jeez, sorry. But we can, since we're still waiting for that, let's start with the top. So 6A at this time, discuss and or possible action on amending the personnel policy. Think that is still scheduled for October 16th.
Yes, sir, that's the Thursday in between. That's gonna be a special meeting. Just know that my daughter is coming into town that night, so when she shows up, I will need to depart the meeting to give her keys to the truck she wants to borrow. Or the truck I'm allowing her to borrow, not the truck she wants.
The truck
to
you
borrow.
bought from her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, I will put out a special meeting agenda for October 16th. Okay.
And then for that discussion, I will need a laptop so that CJ and I can pull up everything and go through it.
So you want to
Yeah.
present?
Just to show, yes, I think that's gonna be the easiest way, just for us to pull it up and go through each section at a time based on what's been done. Everybody should review it by then and have any comments they have about the changes we made, and then we'll address the questions and comments that CJ and I added to it that we wanted to discuss as a group, and just do one section at a time. But I think it'd be better to just have it up on the screen rather than giving everybody a printed copy of it.
Yeah, it's huge. And this is more so for the IT. I don't know, we don't have an extra laptop that's
Are you
capable.
gonna be here? Can you
Yes.
just use your laptop?
can, yeah, and I was gonna say,
sir?
can I use my laptop?
I just
Okay.
need a laptop that we can use to drive that discussion, so.
Gotcha, got it. I will be here. Okay, laptop necessary. Got it. Any-
And please do not print that for everyone.
No, we will not. And then I'll re-up the email that you sent out originally. So I'll send it out so it's on top of everybody's inbox. And then they can kind of rediscover it and hopefully not read it
Sounds
for the
great, sir.
first time. Okay. Moving on, 6B, update on property improvement plan provided by property owner residential address 3807 Waterwood Pass. So I know we had originally talked about this item can be removed. I wanted to give Mr. Reagan an opportunity to come back one more time because me and him and the chief met up and created an action plan, but he is not able to attend today. He's done 90% of what we've asked him to do, right? The unsafe structures down. There's a little bit of the frame that he's already promised to cut off. And he's got some junk that's to be hauled off because he's selling it. It's metal. And then he recently acquired a permit for his fence. So within the time frame that he's allotted to fix his fence, that's the time frame that he's promised to have it all closed out. Because at this point, you can't see anything from the right of way because when he put the fence up, it was incorrect. So now that he's trying to become in compliance, that's when the Connex will move back, the metal will be gone, and his fence will be in compliance with our local ordinance.
Did he submit a plan? What type of fence is he putting
Yes, sir.
in the front?
Yes.
The fence permit requires that he outline the material that he's using, the design of the
Correct.
layout of the lot. It's all part of the permit.
Are you asking me what type, what did he tell us? Yes, he
been
submitted.
Given
He-
a permit
He already submitted and has a permit. Yeah,
and it falls within the guidelines.
correct.
Okay.
I'd like to address one more time my opposition to leaving that manufactured home frame on the property. While he's taking scrap metal, he needs to cut that up and take it with it. There is no legitimate structure that can be built on that. It's not approved by any code.
And the letter that you gave him didn't say
And-
that he could keep it,
and-
did it?
Said excluding foundation.
But that's not the foundation, correct?
The ordinance states that when a structure exceeds a certain percentage of damages, the structure has to be taken down and removed.
So Mr. Alderman
mean,
Bellinger, his argument was that the letter said he could leave it, but it sounds like the letter just says the foundation, and the portion you're asking him to remove by definition isn't considered the
It's not a
foundation, it's the
foundation.
base,
The frame.
it's the frame. Yes, sir, I agree.
The frame.
If it's been damaged and the ordinance says it should go,
The
then
only-
why can't he scrap it with the rest of his metal?
The only portion that was damaged was a small section at the end of the building but
You're saying the only portion of the frame, however, that frame was a small part of the entire structure. That
wood,
frame was
that
part
burned.
of the building. The building as a whole was more than 75% damage. I don't know. It was an extensive amount of damage to it. So the frame might have only been partially damaged, but the frame as a whole, as Alderman Fillinger said, was part of the structure and by ordinance should be removed. And it's scrap metal. He can sell that and get money for it too. Understand it's more work to cut it up, but it should be required. I concur Alderman Fillinger has a valid point.
I don't necessarily agree because there's no difference than keeping any other bit of scrap metal on your property, right? It's propped up, it's elevated, it has electricity still running to it. The city public service has not pulled the electricity off of it. So they still deem it as not as habitable, but as safe to still have electricity to it.
Alderman Tremblay, your thoughts on it?
Well, I think, when we discussed this, we were going to have a building inspector go in there and make the call. And we didn't go that route. And so you and the chief went by and decided that he could keep the frame.
We didn't decide, but we looked and realized that the burn, right, only was on the frame, on the floor, right? The floor is still present on, let's call it 80% of the frame, right? It's only this small section that received some burn.
So he's asking for an exception to our ordinance that Alderman Fillinger has cited.
I don't think he's asking for an exception. I
If
think
he's leaving it, he's asking for an exception.
Yeah, it's because we
And not
respectfully
go anywhere.
request.
Say that again, please.
The letter here from his attorney says, we respectfully request
Is that
that
the
the city
Roman
allow
numerals?
our client to remove the burned quarter of the frame and repurpose the remaining 3/4 of the frame for future construction materials within the next 60 days. They also wanted an extension on the fence permit.
So you received this,
I received it and he asked, spoke to him and exactly what Alderwoman Walker said. He's asking to remove the burnt portion.
you have an answer,
repurpose.
yeah.
Excuse me?
You haven't given him an answer to his request.
No,
No.
because that's a council or
So he
Yeah.
wants to
Building.
build on top of this frame.
Right, that's what
Exactly
it- I
what
mean,
I
he's
said
stood here
all the
and
way
said that.
along.
So,
If he is going to rebuild on that frame.
I go back to what Alderman
And I'm-
Tremblay says,
and
we need a building inspector to say that's good, and he
I'm
needs to pay
telling
for
you,
it.
well,
Yeah,
that frame is not sufficient to support a stick-built structure. But
No,
But-
it's a deviation from our ordinance. It's an exception to our policy. And to rebuild on something without a building inspector to say it's safe. Cause that structure burnt. And yes, the damage only reveals itself is obvious on a portion of that frame,
but the heat stress.
but exactly. And the fact that the ordinance says if the structure is a certain percentage damage, it must be fully removed, as Alderman Fillinger stated. Unless we have a building inspector, as Alderman Tremblay requested previously, we just need to have him get it all out of there.
I will say that we have done this before with burned out manufactured home, and they were all removed to the ground. I think we're setting a bad precedent if we say, oh yeah, well, okay, you can keep 3/4 of it. Well, the next guy, he's wanna go and keep, look, it only an eighth of it's damaged. And sitting here at this table, we're not looking at it. If we're on site, we're not qualified to make that judgment.
but
Okay.
the ordinance pretty much stipulates that If it's beyond a certain percentage of disrepair,
And
then it has to come down. So, I mean, be removed. And so, yeah, I agree with you. If we allow this, we're just opening ourselves up in the
Well,
future to
but-
have to allow
Right,
other.
and his attorneys need to be aware of the fact that we've worked with this man since February of this year. Okay? We were gonna give him 90 days. It's 7 months later.
He's also asking for an extension up to January for the fence.
Why
Well,
does he need
that's
extension
it.
for the fence?
The fence is allowable by the permit he drew,
But the fence that is there
but the
is
fence
not legal.
there is
That
not
needs to
legal.
come down.
Uh,
We can evaluate the extension after the end of the 90 days, but I think it's ridiculous to be asking for an extension before he even starts the 90-day period to do the fence. He's given 90 days to build a fence. And before he even
Well-
starts, he's saying that's not
Give me
enough
more
time. Give me 60 more days, and that 60 days is in the winter.
In February, he said he'll be done with this project in 90 days.
So
And we have extended, we've extended, we've extended, we've extended.
I said, we don't give him any fence extension at this time. At the end of his 90 days, he can come back and ask, but that illegal fence needs to come down. The house is gone, so why does he still have it?
Cause he doesn't live there. He doesn't live there and he's got property there.
And then,
That's, I mean, I'm not
okay.
defending, I'm just saying,
right,
that's
so then
his.
at the end of the 90 days, that should be enough time for him to get rid of that fence and put up a new fence. Understand needing to protect his property, but if everything's gone, what is he protecting? Just trespassers now.
Yeah.
When he was doing the work, he was having vandalism and theft and all kinds of issues, and that's why we didn't question the fence at that time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with,
Okay.
Alderman Phillips. We can't allow him to
His
keep.
current fence permit, according to his attorney's letter, expires November 25th. I say no more extension. Because they're asking for another 60 days beyond that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
for-
And he's gonna repurpose this for construction materials within the next 60 days.
We've given him 6 months. That's what he asked for. That's what we gave him. We gave him the 6
What-
months and another month. And
Originally, he was gonna do it in 90 days.
it's just gone on too long. Let's wrap this up.
But yeah, everything since February has been dying and bleeding.
The entire frame needs to go. He needs to get his fence done in the 90 days. I mean, are we giving out a lot of extensions? Are there people unable to build a fence in 90 days?
No, most are built over a weekend.
Exactly. So it's to give him a 60-day extension now at the very beginning of the 90 days is just giving him carte blanche to just take his time and build it as he wants. So
And then on the back, there's an additional paragraph about the citations.
Yeah, I don't think there's any citations issued in discussion with the chief.
any citations aren't
There
with-
were,
for the
okay.
council to deal with. The citations are between him and the
The
police
judge,
and the judge, not for
Okay.
us. So
Yeah.
I don't think we need to deal with that. That's the
That wasn't something the
attorney.
city did
correct.
as a city.
Well, we did, as
But I mean, as a city.
the police chief did it, the council did not. I think we need to stick with addressing can he leave the frame and can he have another extra 60 days and take until January 25th to get this stuff done?
Well, I would say this, if you allow him till January 25th, he'll be here the meeting before asking for another extension.
So do we need to
Oh.
make a motion for the attorney to respond to this?
I think so.
Well, before, so the fence is a different ordinance, it would be a different motion, I think, but for the substandard or for the frame, for it to be a substandard building, for the council to actually order any demolition or
removal.
actual, removal or abatement, we do need to have, there's particular notice proceedings and
But wasn't that in that notice of remediation or whatever that he was issued in February that he needed to remove the burnt structure? Except for the Foundation?
I think it needs to be newspaper notice, and also.
Okay, so there's additional notice.
A formal public hearing. So the status updates he's given to council has been more administrative, just formality in the status.
What kind of
update.
timeline are we looking at for this notice and the formal public hearing?
And there's a 14, I have to look back at the ordinance. I want to say there's like a 14-day ordinance.
Can we do it in
that follows that.
conjunction with the next meeting, or would that be insufficient
The
time?
next meeting probably would not be in the.
We could
Yeah.
address it during a special meeting when we're doing the other thing.
Okay. So we need to do notice in the paper. And we need to schedule a special hearing.
Yes, there's a special public hearing or a public. hearing.
Actually, we have to give you notice of violation if it's a separate ordinance. And start from the get-go.
There has been a notice of violation. It was.
There's a
but
notice of,
there's
there's a notice of
two.
abatement.
And then the letter. And then he needs a public hearing, so I think we may need a building inspector. I'm looking at the ordinance.
Okay, can we do a public hearing in the same meeting we're doing the personnel policy as Alderman Fillinger just suggested, and just do it right at the very beginning of the meeting?
I think the October 16th meeting. I can't make that meeting, but yes, if you council wants to do that. we can do that.
I think we need to.
I think we need her here. You think, can you do a Zoom, or you're out of touch? Just for that
Yeah.
portion,
I can do a Zoom from like 6:30 to 7:30,
Yeah.
if that's time.
that's the
Yeah.
public hearing, yeah, so I would do it there, the rest you don't have to be there for.
Okay,
That's just us hashing out the policy.
yeah.
Okay, and then what is the notice in the paper that we need to?
Yeah. Well, it says to all property owners, so if there's any other property owners on the record, it needs to go to them as well.
Within 200 feet or anything like that.
Yeah,
No,
and so this is all something our city secretary will take care of, or the
Well,
attorney
she
take care
provides
of?
the
Yeah, we-
documents and then,
We haven't had one. Last time that council held this hearing, it was during COVID, so it's probably been about 4 or 5 years.
All right,
And then there are particular orders that council can.
so,
I think we need to draft the attorney to set this up because their attorney has asked that all notice go through them.
all right. Well, I move to allow the city attorney and the mayor to work to take care of all necessary items in order to set the public hearing and hold the public hearing on October 16th to instruct Mr. Reagan to remove all portions of that structure that was damaged.
And permit will not be.
That, she said that's separate. But it's a different thing.
okay, so I have
He's
a,
asked that all correspondence would go through the attorney.
Right.
In the letter that he sent.
yeah, so she'll reach out to them with any decisions that we make. All right, so I got a motion from our Mayor Pro Tem to instruct the city attorney to prepare the public hearing to set and hold the day of October 16th to address the property improvement of 3807 Waterwood Path.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion from Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderwoman CJ. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we want to talk about the,
And then I move that we deny his request at this time for a 60-day extension for the fence permit, given that he's just now starting his 90 days.
okay, I got a motion from the Mayor Pro Tem and a second from Alderman Fillinger to deny the fence permit, extending it an additional 60 days. All,
That should also be sent to his attorney.
yes, yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, so is there any further discussion on this? Okay. Let's move right along. Discuss under possible action on additional streetlights in Sandy Oaks based on the map provided by CPS. So you're gonna grab it?
I'll grab the
Okay.
because I'd like to address it. Additional street lighting. Yeah, you have miniature maps to follow along. Let me go over here to let everybody see. Looking at this, I have a slight issue. At the extreme south of our city, we have Star Oak Drive. We have one side of Star Oak Drive. Okay. This light and this light are not within the city limits. So I don't think we should.
So this road is Star.
This is Star Oak. Everything south and east of
I guess we should have
Star Oak Drive
put city borders on it.
is outside of the,
Okay, well then I would agree, we should remove those two,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
If they're not in our city, we shouldn't request them.
Minus the cul-de-sac though, couldn't we put it on the opposing side? For like the one that,
Which one? you
like,
got?
on, so that very,
again.
Are you talking about this
what's
one?
the-
yes,
But there's a light right there,
is there a light there?
right,
Well,
Yeah,
close
there-
enough
in
on,
between.
There are some there.
there's
Okay.
some lights there, so I
Okay.
don't think, if that's not in our jurisdiction, then we shouldn't be requesting lights be installed outside of our jurisdiction.
And the argument we made the same for Priest Road, I mean, we could
No,
put them all
Well,
on the right.
depending on what side. of the street
Well, that's
you
what I'm
put
saying,
on
right?
each
Like-
side, yeah.
well, here's the thing. On Priest Road, now you have to understand, Star Oak Drive is maintained by the county.
Okay.
Okay, so our right of ways are west and north
Mhm.
of Star Oak. Okay. Priest Road, we have
I'll hold your point.
Breach Road, we have a different situation in that our right of way and the city limit is marked, you just can't see it. Our right of way, all the way to here is both sides of Priest Road.
Okay.
Okay,
But this time, we're not asking for any.
No,
lights
no,
on
no, I was
there, so-
I was seeing for the comparison, right? Like,
So
well-
these two are outside the city limit.
yes.
So what about all the rest?
I've been looking at it and being familiar with most of the streets in this city. I don't have an issue. They're all on curves.
cul-de-sacs.
And
What's the reason that's a different color? Do you just run out of bright one?
I think so.
So what's the count for the,
I think it's minus those two, I think it's 13.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
More have been added.
Yeah. So this is more than what I sent you.
Yeah.
Is this part of our jurisdiction
that,
Yeah, Mathis.
on Mathis, right?
yeah, just by the fire station there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Priscilla had added it here.
Yeah,
Priscilla added some?
yeah,
So that's not.
So what's on the
necessarily
map
that-
is what I sent.
right,
well,
Yeah,
right. But I think there was only 14 that you added,
Mhm.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I mean, what we have on our handout is adequate. I don't, if we went in adding things on there
Yeah.
after this,
uh,
that's a different story.
everything on the handout.
On the
looks
handout
good.
should be acceptable.
except for the
Just
two.
Except for those two.
Can you pull those two, Alderman Phillips?
So.
But I do think those still address
so
areas.
Here, Alderman Phillips, let me point out the ones that are on here. So based on this map, this one is still there, if there's no issues. This one was on the other map. This one was on the other map. Those two were removed. This one was on there.
Mhm.
This one is on there.
Yeah.
This one is on there. This one is.
Those two next to it,
These two are not.
right?
Where are those?
So these are on Hilltop Peak. Because again, we're trying to keep 500 feet in between. I know the road bends a little bit, but it's not really a turn. There's lights at the corners, plus one light there. So the thoughts on the Hilltop Peak,
Yeah,
these are added.
You could remove one
I
of
can't
them.
read that.
I would move the southern one. Yeah,
Council, thoughts?
Well, it's just real hard to. I mean, if we're gonna approve this tonight, I'd like to see a copy in front of me where I.
But
with-
that-
with- I can't read the
Yeah.
streets on here.
There we go.
Had one here, or we had one.
So these are the two that are added from what you have in front of you.
What streets are those?
This is both this on Hilltop Peak. Where there's already two lights,
Yeah, but see the
So
bottom
there's
one.
one here already.
correct, and there's one here already.
See right
So
at
why
the
are we
end of-
adding these?
right
I
at the
don't
end
know,
of
I
the-
didn't.
I don't know about the top one, but right at the end of the curve,
Mhm.
that is extremely dark at night.
This turn right here,
That turn right there is extremely dark. When you're going
Fillinger, you,
that way.
Alderman Fillinger, you responsible, are you, familiar with the Hilltop Peaks area?
Yes,
So,
neither of them.
Alderman Walker is saying, Alderwoman Walker is saying that it's dark in this lower curve.
It's very dark on that lower curve, not on the other one.
But-
I mean, I haven't noticed a problem on the other one, but that lower one.
So she's asking that we keep the lower one.
Well, it, it depends on how many we want to authorize.
Okay, so for now,
hard
she's
to
asking to
tell.
keep this, but everybody in concurrence to remove the top one?
Yeah.
Okay, we remove the top one. Now we move up here. This one was already, is on your map.
Okay.
It's the other two,
the one north of that is not,
Yeah,
This one is not.
right?
and then there are the other two that are.
So any,
there's one right, just. beyond
there's
it.
one right next to it. So any issues with removing this one?
Well,
What street is that on?
priest, it's.
That's
Priest.
on Shady Forest Drive. This is not on Priest, this
That's
is Shady
that's leading
Forest
up to the
Drive.
park, so I think,
Leading up to, no, it's not.
well, you can take Shady Forest to turn on.
No.
That's the road I take to go to the park.
Right.
It's not to get to the park. Oh, well, if you come this way.
Yeah,
Right.
So this,
So there's one here, and then there's one
There's
beyond
one up
it,
there.
and so. Okay.
any issues with pulling that one?
You haven't, I haven't noticed anything.
I haven't, I mean, I don't go that way at night, but
Yeah, no, but
There's a lot of light around the water tower.
And then the other two new ones are.
Okay,
Also.
so this one is also a new one.
Mhm.
what road is that?
That is Black Cherry.
I did have two citizens send me requests. Let me find that. I do want to add those.
So there's three right in a row and then another one on the other side. And again, CPS recommends 500 feet, sir?
Yeah, a lot of those.
Well, actually. 528 feet or something.
So do we need this one on Black Cherry given the other four?
Excuse me, if if you are gonna put one, you would put it in the
I-
middle of the
I'm-
two. I mean, if you're going to put one.
But I'm almost sure that there are two all-night security lights in that stretch of road right there.
Do we need the city to pay for a
Mhm.
new light there? Yes or no?
No,
CJ?
I,
No.
I don't know that street.
Okay,
I'm not familiar.
done.
I believe the
This is
mayor
also-
is correct, though, that we did have citizens.
Right, and we'll make sure those are added on to this. We'll make that exception to
Because
this.
those were black. cherry.
But then this one is Grand Springs. Here's another one added in between these two lights, right in the middle of that section that is not on the document that you have.
On Grange.
And I don't know about what that is.
That's heading back towards. This is the new subdivision.
Tom Rufino lives right here. Okay. And then we have, I think, 3 little side streets on it. And then a cul-de-sac down here.
And we have a light in the cul.
And this from here to here is not even, it's not 200 feet.
Did you take up the one on Dreamview?
No, we haven't got the one on
Okay.
Dreamview yet.
Because good, that's the one that the citizen called in.
It might not even be on here. We'll need to pull that one.
Cherry.
Yeah, I was looking for
So
that. one.
Dream View, there's not one on. there.
There's not one dream view, so you'll need to add that. Okay,
Tell us.
this one, was one that I thought we might need, cause there's a turn in this far part.
Yeah.
White Hickory, we're good with this one. This one was added, it's on this short road in between these two, I don't even know.
Oh.
Desert Wind,
It's a short street or short road. And then there's one at the corner and then you
Yeah.
got one in the cul-de-sac. I don't think you need that.
Alderman
I'm
Phillips?
familiar with that, so it,
Which one?
but it.
Do we
looks
need this
like
one
there's
here?
enough-
Looks like there's enough.
It looks like there's enough light.
Okay, this one was one that I put on mine and it's on Lost Hills, cause there's a
It's a
stretch
long
here.
Stretch,
Mhm.
okay. I can live with that one.
This one was added, it's kind of a long stretch.
Yeah.
And it's flat River Drive, put one in the middle there.
Desert Winds, he took off Desert Winds, right?
Did we get it? I think so.
I don't,
Desert Winds, what I think is a cul-de-sac. Not up there,
if
it
it's
was,
right in the cul-de-sac, we should have had one there
it
already.
was right in the cul-de-sac.
Where's Desert Window?
But we don't have one there?
Not on this, not on what you're looking at, CJ. I had thought,
Where's Desert Wind?
I told Delma to put it in there, or to get with Priscilla to put it in there. I'll tell you right now, hang on.
Desert Wind, right here.
That's what
Yeah.
we just pulled. There is one in the
There
cul-de-sac.
are two.
There's
Right
one at the
there's one
cul-de-sac and one here. Why do we need one in the middle?
corner On the main drag.
Yeah, and that,
There's
And then
one
right
here.
agreed
Yeah.
again, that street's not two
They
hundred
have it.
feet long.
That's weird. Okay, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
she was, the lady said there was no light there, so it could be just that it's out.
Lights out.
Yeah,
So hold on, let's do that. We're gonna put this colored one here. The odd colored one is the one you need to look into because we don't think we need one there.
yeah, no, I agree. If there's already two lights there and one at the cul-de-sac,
But
then
you need to find out is the light
there's a
out.
light out.
We don't want this light here.
Yeah,
But we need to
yeah.
find out if one of those is out.
Yeah.
And then what about here on Flat River? Is this a
That's
long enough
correct.
stretch that we should go ahead and put one
Yeah.
in?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then this one is on the map you have. It's Opportunity Drive. It's another turn
That's good.
with a stretch in between.
Yeah. That needs to, yeah.
This one isn't on the map that you have. This is Hilltop Peak. There's one here and one here. Kind of a turn. This is the one we said, yes, maybe if there weren't too many. That's why I'm circling back to this. Otherwise, we've got already addressed every other one on here. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, if we include that one there that we were kind of iffy on.
Do we have one? I'm sorry, I don't remember. Do we have one on Dreamview?
I really don't think that's.
He did call that.
necessary.
Which,
Dream.
Those-
So if you
Uh,
come down, Waterwood Pass, there's Water Wheel,
Mhm.
okay? And then you'll come down Water Wheel, you'll take a right, and then that's Dreamview, or take a right on Wild Fox. Or I maybe, yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay, and then you take another right and that's Dreamview. So it's there, perfect,
That was one that I was recommending. It's a long stretch.
okay. And that's one of the citizens ones that.
Okay.
okay.
The other one, I don't think the citizen needs one, but I think that's probably, if she's saying it's
Out.
dark, there's a light out somewhere.
There's a light out.
So,
What were we
So-
gonna do with the
okay,
curve right out on Priest? Were we gonna put
I thought we.
not a street light, but
what's that green?
Oh, the chevrons,
Yeah.
was that what we were gonna do?
A
I
and,
remember us
there's
discussing.
an A and
Yeah.
an L right there. Okay, so for the streetlights, not counting this one, this is one that the mayor needs to investigate. We're at 14. Are we comfortable with adding 14 streetlights to our CPF bill
I'm fine.
Move to approve adding 14 streetlights
as indicated?
as indicated on the map.
I'll second that.
Okay, does this map reflect?
No.
Which
No.
is enough, we did.
Okay.
So, yeah, Mayor, if you could send it updated, so. we
You
have
wanna, you wanna hold it up so I can take a quick picture? Ms. White, claim Miss White for today.
No, that's Ann's name.
Oh, that's true. All right, got it.
All
All
right,
right, so I have a motion, where am I at? Hold on. I have a motion by Alderman Tremblay
And it should be said, so easy.
and a second by the Mayor Pro Tem Madero to approve 14 new streetlights as presented on the map. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. So I will, so then the next step is just to grab poll tags, which I believe we should have most of those already. And then get that over to CPS and then they'll schedule it and start adding new lights.
Right, and then also, Mayor, you're gonna look
Yeah.
into that one for that one
Yeah.
citizen? Thank you.
I'll go by right
Lights
now.
on Grandview, okay.
Okay. And then I'll cruise by that one that we want to look at and just see if it's just an outlight, a bulb or
Cause
something.
there should be one in the cul-de-sac and one right at the turn, and that should be lighting that
That
up.
should be enough, yeah.
Should
I
be.
will add to the, did you make the motion already?
Yeah.
Made the motion, that if that one that the lady thinks she needs, and it just maybe a light out, to go ahead and authorize up the count to 15. Authorize the count, to go to 15 if that
Well,
light is.
if the light's out, we need to get CPS to come
Right,
fix it.
but if there's a light there and it's still deemed that a light is needed, then we'll do it. We will have to come back, or you just don't think we need one there? Okay, we'll go on.
Okay,
That cul-de-sac, 100 feet long.
so then I'm looking at Dreamview and then you're looking at which one again? Oh, no, you're looking at Dreamview right there.
You're right.
Okay.
I got it.
And then I'm looking at that other one to see if it's just out, okay. Okay, moving along, discuss and or possible action on contract for codification services. I actually did get some time with, E-Code and, spent some time with them. It's very similar. They're working on pricing right now, but has the translate, the Google Translate function. They did ask a question that I did not have the answer to. And maybe this is for you, Cassandra. She said, have we adopted the code, right, online? And I said, well, we adopt every ordinance individually. And she said, no, like, have you adopted the code in its entirety?
No.
Okay. And I was like, I don't know, why would we do that? But that's why I'm also asking.
We have to codify it before we can adopt the code in its.
The entirety, yeah, and we're
Yeah.
constantly changing it. That doesn't make sense.
Okay. So then I'll let her know that, update to that answer.
I will. As you look at these, when they say Google Translate, I think that's a very desirable feature. But one of them I looked at would allow you to translate to another language, but you couldn't translate.
Like,
In
it will
fact,
get stuck.
to English. And then you have to delete all your cookies to get it back in English. So, we need to.
Let's just wait and see what they come to say, and we can ask that question.
Yeah,
Can
we
it,
do.
can it go both ways
Yeah.
when we're looking at what they present?
And I did let them know that that y'all would more than likely want to see the presentation that she showed me. She did estimate between $10,000 to $15,000 for the entire codification, should take about a year. But has the same functionality of, like, it has like a legal review. You could search other cities with similarities to yours. She did talk about, because I know Alderman Fillinger mentioned it, about because we're over 5,000 people, we can become a general law city.
No, we can become a home rule.
A home rule city, yeah, home rule city.
The.
But she said,
local
if we're
associated with that.
if we're going to do that, she said, do that before we do the codification. So, something to at least think about. I don't know if it's worth it or not, but again, she did say that.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you read the TML documents on the difference? And what it
I've-
means to be a home rule city?
I've read a little bit of it, not all of it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more work than this town is willing to take on.
Yeah.
Or ready to take on.
Absolutely unapproachable unless we have a professional city administrator to lead the charge.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening anytime soon, sir.
Okay, no, it was just a question, so.
So, yeah. Good question, because we can, but I'm with Alderman Fillinger. I don't think we can do that.
Yeah. And then. But yeah, so it had the Google Translate. I did ask her about, well, Google Translate doesn't actually. It's not
It's not perfect.
perfect, right? It's just translating words. It's not really translating sentences.
Mhm.
And she did say that is in development for them, but I'm pretty sure that's with everybody, so.
That's true. So you're talking about bringing this new company to a future meeting and bringing back both quotes for us to look at and evaluate as a council and make a decision at that time on which way we want to go.
It would be between Municode and E-Code, which are two competitors.
Well,
So,
thank you for taking the time to get that second quote as we have.
yep. Any questions about that? I mean, I know I didn't give you a ton of information, but
No, just looking forward to seeing their demo and please bring back both quotes
Okay.
to us.
yeah, and I'll ask her for an updated one so that way we can compare
So we can,
properly.
yep, and then make a decision hopefully whether or not we want to pursue.
Yeah.
And which one.
Okay, so let's see here, then we will move along. Do we have the right ordinance now, or is she still?
Still praying.
She's in printing, okay. Then let's move on to F for now. Update on property cleanup and code enforcement of 23322 Copper Canyon, Sandy Oaks, Texas, 78112. So the last I've heard, unless y'all have heard differently, we did present the search warrant to the magistrate. The magistrate kicked it back and said we need to find a civil judge. So that's what we're trying to do, so we can.
Actually, our prior experience has been council makes that decision, and once we do, the court will kick it back as it's already done. And this is, we are not fully utilizing our ordinance. Because we have to do the process. Okay. We're asking our police department to do something they're not geared up to do. Okay, they're geared up to stop and talk to people. They're geared up to give them a 10-day warning. They're geared up to write a citation. Okay. But enforcing that ordinance, we have to send a notice. We have to give them the chance to respond. We have to hold a public hearing. And once we do that, we don't need a warrant
To enter private property?
to enter private property. We've done it before, sir.
That's Cassandra, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, but laws can change.
Yeah, I don't know the reason, because there's different circumstances, but I think to enter the property, we do need a warrant, it's an administrative warrant, to clean up and access the property. There have been times where judges have kicked it back and said we don't need one. And so I think that is why we entered the property for that particular property. But I think generally we need an administrative warrant anytime the city's gonna enter onto property and clean it up. And we have done that too with a warrant, and then cleaned up the property and placed the lien.
Is an administrative warrant different than a search warrant?
It's called an administrative search warrant, but it's because of like a safety, it's not a safety hazard, not because a crime is being committed or that it's being investigated. But it's
more.
It's because there's a safety violation or an ordinance violation that's not necessarily criminal.
So what's our next step?
Well, yeah, what's the roadblock here? How do we proceed?
I think the judge the judge did not think she had authority to sign the warrant. I think she did. But so we're looking into, I think our municipal judge can sign it. He just wants to have a discussion.
Our
prior
judge.
to-
Yep.
Our municipal judge.
So that's the roadblock, right? So that's the update as of today, is we presented the administrative search warrant to the magistrate. They said us no. Now we're talking to Judge Dixon or maybe a justice of the peace to allow us to enter the property.
Yeah, and I don't think a justice of peace has authority, but it said really any judge that has jurisdiction over criminal matters. So every judge is different. Some judges won't sign it, and then some judges have signed these type of warrants.
Do we as the council need to do anything or just to continue to support your efforts to go get this done?
Council had already, I think,
Yeah.
took action on
Took
it.
order.
Yeah,
so
we
that's
already
why
did
we're
the
getting
order.
word.
So now you guys
Yeah.
are just giving us an update. We don't need to do anything
It's
for you to
just the
continue. this.
communication with the landowner or the
Yeah.
judge giving us the authority.
Mhm.
Some legal authority, so it's not that we have a roadblock, now we have a solution if we're gonna just let our municipal judge sign off on it.
Okay,
And if he can't, hopefully he can lead us in the right direction.
All right, thanks for the update.
All right. Okay, so let's see here.
We skipped 6E.
Yeah, we skipped 6E because I think we're waiting for the printouts.
No, 6E is. No, that is the
What
animal
did y'all just
shelter.
get? Is that the-
That's the animal shelter
Okay,
advisory
that's
committee. Oh, okay. Cause we didn't get this updated version. We got the updated animal control. one.
It's a very minor, amendment to section.
Based on
2.
those items that Alderwoman
Yes.
Walker identified as being missing.
Oh, we talked about.
Yes.
I hugged them all up.
I'm not.
Yeah. Seriously, existing. Ordinances. I really, we have,
Clean version.
So we're just adding and assist in.
The way that the ordinance was written, so the prior, committee that handled the, I can't remember what.
The
the name is.
advisory committee,
The advisory
the
committee.
animal control advisory.
Okay, so instead of just recommending procedures, actually going to assist
Yeah,
in doing it
exactly.
because the animal advisory committee, okay.
Otherwise, I compared them and that was the only thing. That was iffy.
Did you guys all get copies of?
Mhm. And the ordinance would be 261.
261, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I move that we accept ordinance number 2025-261. An ordinance of the city council of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending ordinance number 2023-220 to provide for additional duties of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee and related matters thereto.
I second.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderwoman CJ. To approve ordinance number 2025-261, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Diego, Texas, amending ordinance number 2023-220 to provide for additional duties of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee and related matters thereto.
So, and again, it's my understanding, as we just said, that these are things from the other ordinance that when combined, were not incorporated. But I do have a question in regards to the first paragraph where it says, which was amended by ordinance number 2022-206. Do we also need to add and ordinance number 2023-220?
where are you?
Very first paragraph.
First whereas.
It says, whereas the city council of the city of San Diego adopted ordinance number 2019-127, which was amended by ordinance number 2022-206, creating an animal control advisory committee. But ordinance 2022-206 was amended by 2023-220. So shouldn't we add further amended? This is a question for the city attorney. Would that be appropriate to add in that first sentence? So then I would move to add after 2022-206, the statement and further amended by ordinance number 2023-220.
Okay, so I do have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Madero. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
And a second by Alderman Tremblay to insert after 2022-206, comma, and further amended by 2023-220. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
CJ.
Um. yes, It shows up in several places on here,
Oh,
and that's what
gotcha.
I was looking at.
Gotcha. Yeah, it does that in the fourth whereas. All right, so that motion all those opposed? That motion carries. Anything else? Anything else? Can we
Moving right along.
moving right along?
Now you can take a vote on that, we're gonna make
Yep.
as amended.
So now. Yep. So now. The original motion was to adopt an ordinance of the city, adopt an ordinance number 2025-261, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas. Amending ordinance number 2023-220 to provide for additional duties of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee related matters thereto.
As amended.
As amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right, this is closed. This is the first reading, so we will bring it up in the next meeting. You can send me that updated version. I'll post it tomorrow. Okay.
Then it can be a second reading on that one. It's not a fine associated with it.
No, but I think all the ordinances.
All ordinance requires second reading unless we waive it.
We want to waive it?
I moved to waive the second reading on this one. And go ahead and approve it now because there's no
Yeah, there's no-
significant impact to the citizens. This is an impact to the advisory committee.
I'll second that.
All right, I got a motion to waive the second reading by Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Tremblay. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right, second reading has been waived.
You will need to update the signature, the date that it was approved.
Yeah.
But I don't think we need a motion to do that. That's usually done out in something.
Yep, okay.
But further discussing this ordinance. Before we move on, we were looking for quotes from the vet.
Mhm.
For supporting the Animal Advisory Committee, and we were hoping that Ashley would be able to provide,
The welfare organization.
yes, a welfare organization. So where are we at with those two items so that we can complete the committee, sir?
I don't have any updates. Do you, Ben?
No, I did reach out to the vet that we use, sorry. The vet that we use, that comes here. But I have not received anything back. There's a lot of, it kind of has to be up to code. In order for them to wanna put their license
Yeah.
on the line.
But
So-
I moved.
So what they're doing is they're going to be
May I
inspecting
move
and
that
tell us.
this discussion is beyond the scope of the agenda.
It is, that's what we've been discussing this whole time.
So there's the-
Send the item is to discuss an ordinance.
But that's exactly what it said for the past 2 months, and we've been discussing building the animal advisory committee.
I'm not gonna change the past on the future.
Although that amendment discusses the membership. Is that what we're discussing?
So what,
The
what
ordinance,
does he
I
need to
mean.
put on the agenda for us to discuss it in the future, since clearly you're indicating he hasn't, reported it correctly?
The quote from the veterinary.
So we want to talk about the animal advisory committee, which is outlined in ordinance 2023. Well, no,
And we
it's
should have
2025
agenda item
261.
Under animal control to address discussion. We are discussing an ordinance amendment here. And anything beyond the scope of
I can
that,
see the logic there.
it needs a separate agenda item.
Right. But we've been discussing it under this, so I'm just
It's been
asking,
violating.
right, so if we want to keep it under unfinished business, it's still unfinished business. What is the statement he needs to make there?
Discuss the animal, the ordinance number now 2025-261. The animal
Advisory.
shelter advisory committee.
All right.
Yeah.
Would that be good enough?
Discuss activities of the animal shelter committee.
Well, it's not activities, it's a construct.
Yeah. Or discuss the contract.
Yeah, okay.
Even though that's part of the ordinance.
All animal
Yeah.
control. and I do the tax one. They're two different.
Okay. Is that,
That's all animal control.
thank you, again, asking city attorney, is that accurate that we can't talk about the personnel on the animal advisory committee based on the agenda item as written?
Find out the specific personnel, you can talk about the membership, the way the body is made up based on the ordinance, since the ordinance does address.
So we need to
Personnel
specifically
on
say
it.
the personnel on the animal advisory committee to discuss it in the
The,
future.
the members, whether it's
Members,
appointing or.
Okay,
Okay.
The members, the vet, the welfare
Would be more
committee.
specific.
I don't think you
welfare-
need to call out the specific members are going to discuss and just say
Yeah.
the membership in general.
Okay,
The members of, sir, you could edit that so we can continue that discussion, at the future. Sorry, we didn't catch that sooner.
it's all a learning. Okay. So that does conclude. Any more questions on E?
No, because we've already amended the order and that's the only thing we're allowed to discuss under that one
Okay.
as written.
All right,
Other copies for that, okay.
21. One.
Okay, and, she just indicated she's still printing 7A.
Yep. So then we'll jump to 7B.
So these documents in here are not the correct one.
I think it's the current one. The current animal control ordinance, not,
No, I'm talking about the tax ordinance.
oh, no,
Okay,
there's.
okay, so we have to skip that one. And then she just passed around the new animal control ordinance. I'm assuming this is the version that you emailed, the printed copy she just handed us. So,
Which was talking about,
What's the difference?
it's red lined, one's blue lined and one's red lined, so you might have grabbed two of the same
I
one.
think.
Hmm.
Is it, I didn't know if that was her red line copy.
No,
No.
They have a blue
so like
one.
this one has blue lines.
Do you have two blue lines?
I have a blue one. We kept the blue one. Like we did.
Alderman Walker, you know this one, I can pull up, I have it on my.
Oh, okay.
So I think the amendments to this one primarily were concerned around,
well, there's some blanks highlighted in yellow, I think.
Yeah.
One's filled in and I had some points to discuss, so,
yeah, there was issues with litters and then reclaim or failure to reclaim.
There's a definition on it, clarification.
So this is, which ordinance is this
What do you,
number?
oh. It
Do
would,
we need
it
the
would,
motion
it would
so that
fall
we
in,
can discuss
yeah,
it?
it'd just fall in
Was it-
line 262.
So just didn't know whether it was before or after.
Gotcha.
Okay. I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-262, an ordinance of the city of San Diego amending ordinance number 2025-236, establishing animal control regulations, providing a severability clause, providing for a penalty for violations hereof, providing for an effective date, and providing for publication.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem to adopt ordinance number 2025-262. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
We
by
accepted
Alderman Phillips.
the fact that there's blanks in it.
No, we
No.
have to make the motion before we can discuss it. Based on
Oh,
Robert's
okay.
rules of order, the motion allows us to open it for
Got it.
discussion. All right, with that, I would like to address all of the highlighted areas in yellow, which indicated these are things that we need to fill in as a council. And then I'll go back and address other questions I have on this. So, the first, one is on page 2, the very bottom. Again, I'm looking at the blue line version, just so the pages match up. And there's a highlighted place to specify how many days an individual can care for a stray animal on their premise, on their property prior to it being considered their animal. Ashley, if you don't mind contributing to this, what, based on your research of other cities, is a reasonable amount of time that they use?
So I've seen anywhere from 48 hours to allow a stray to remain on your property to, 70. There's been some variation between different cities. And I think it's more based on rural areas versus city areas.
Okay. And that clock stops the moment they call you and say, there's a stray animal on my property. Okay, so what do we feel is appropriate for our town?
I think 48 hours, but I think we gotta clarify business hours, because if you pick it up on a Friday night, nobody's answering on a Saturday and Sunday.
But once they make the phone call to her, that stops the clock, whether she answers or not. Correct.
I think that cause anyone who leaves a message on the phone, we answer every single message we get. So I think that. Once they leave a message with us, whether they text us, call us, send us a photo, email us on the computer. They're reporting it at that time.
Council, what do we think? Thank you.
I would think, 3 days would be adequate,
72 hours?
72 hours.
Do we need
We're
to
talking
specify-
days here, so
Right, okay, valid point. Do we want to stick with days or do we want to go with hours?
well, days is, I mean, I don't have a problem with hours, but how do you figure hours if somebody says, well, I got them set at 6 o'clock, in the evening yesterday, or,
Valid point.
I think just days.
Do you see a need to designate business days?
No.
So
No.
I moved,
We go with 72 hours? If we see it on a Friday and it's still there on Monday, that's 72 hours.
they should have called by then.
You should have called.
Called or texted. All right, I moved to insert 3 in that blank at the bottom of page 2. So it says, within 3 days of a stray animal remaining.
Okay, I have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second? And a second by Alderman Fillinger to insert within 3 days of a stray animal remaining. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay,
On page 4, we have the definition of owner, which also adds a similar type of statement, and I would move to insert 3 in that highlighted section, so it reads premises within 3 days of a stray animal remaining.
Second that.
can you just clarify what the purpose of this one is for? Because it's talking about the parent or guardian of a minor, but then it reiterates the same thing that we have on the first.
Right, again, this is just defining the term owner versus the term custodian. So if it's on your property, you are considered the custodian. If it's there for more than 3 days, if it's there for more than 3 days, you're considered an owner. And the minor student, and minor, and again, our city attorney would probably answer this better. I think it's just to clarify that if you're a minor, then
It's
your
still a
parent, this applies to your parents and not you, but
Yeah.
they're still accountable. Is the only reason that's added in.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense now. All right, so I do have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Did I have a second?
Yes.
And a second by Alderman Tremblay to insert within 3 days of a stray animal remaining. All those in favor say aye.
Right,
Okay, moving along.
And the next page has the next yellow area, and then again, I would like to our animal control officer to provide us some input. We're talking about the size of an enclosure for a secure enclosure, fenced area. Ma'am, your insights and opinions on that, please.
Is that for the dangerous dog or just an enclosure?
It's just
Secure enclosure.
secure enclosure, the definition. This is in the definition portion of it. And I think it later is used in reference to a dangerous animal.
So. I think the minimum size should be for a secure enclosure. If it's pertaining to a dangerous dog, it should be a minimum of a 10 by 10. If it is, just for holding, the secure enclosure would need to be big enough for the animal to stand up, turn around, and avoid being in its own feces. If it happens to defecate or urinate while you're having it in this enclosure, it needs to be able to move away from that location and be, have, shelter from the weather, the sun, have cool water, not hot freezing water in the sun. And just be able to stand up, turn around, and get out of that.
So I think
So there's
what,
no indication of a minimum height in this definition here. Are you indicating that you think we need to specify a minimum height for the enclosure as well?
The height would depend on the size of the dog.
yeah, you don't need a 6-foot gate for a chihuahua.
Yeah, like if as long as the dog can stand up, turn around and get out of its own feces, a secure enclosure.
And then you could make a 10-foot and the dog knows how to leap or climb. So I mean,
It depends on your dog
Yeah.
specifically, but if it's pertaining to a dangerous dog, I think it needs to have a roof. Specifically, so,
but hold on, let's go back to this is just a secure area, right?
Right, and you're specifying a 10 feet by 10 feet, but you also began speaking of the height, and that wasn't specified in ordinance, and that's why I'm just asking whether you think we need to have a second discussion on a specific height
I
for
think
the
it
secure
would, I
enclosure.
think it would be helpful, to have a specific height added in there. Because can't have it could be a 10 by 10, but it's only 2 foot tall, and your dog is not gonna be okay in that area to remain.
Okay, well, it does say fully enclosed on top.
Right.
And around all sides and cannot be chewed through or otherwise allow escape of a dangerous dog. So it says it has to be fully enclosed, that's covered, but it doesn't say that the dog has to be able to stand up in there. So,
I think that's important to put in there.
I would question the need for a hard covered roof. Simply because I've had kennels. With chain link top. And shade type roots on it. And my kennels were all 5 feet tall. So if you need more than 5 feet, that's a horse, not a dog.
Mhm.
so you're saying we don't need the statement with hard covered roof, especially since it says it's not going to allow the animal to escape. And that it should be based on.
It needs to be sheltered,
Right, it says fully enclosed on top, but then parenthetically it says with hard covered roof. You're saying
Yeah.
that portion is not necessary, sir?
I don't believe it's necessary.
I think the reason that was put in there is because, if it is a dangerous dog and it has the ability to chew through chain link, it has to be able to have shade, and what I'm concerned about is it's going to, if it's just a tarp over the top as the roof.
No,
Yes.
I'm good with fully enclosed, but I know, I'm not personally aware of an animal that is gonna leap up 5 feet in the air or 6 feet in the air, grab on chain link and hang on there long enough to rip a hole to escape from.
But even if the
Because-
dog can,
because
it says it's not allowed to escape.
Well, even if he can, every dog I know would see through the side before they go through a chain link enclosure on top.
So I think your concern about their ability to escape is countered with the
And-
final statement or otherwise allow escape of the dangerous dog.
Well,
So I think that counters your
Fu-
concern
fully-
with his
fully
not requiring
enclosed,
the
I
dog.
agree with fully enclosed. However, if you tell me you have to secure your dog for 10 days, okay? I'm gonna run right on over to Tractor Supply Company. Now I'm gonna get their 8 foot by 8 foot kennel. Now I'm gonna get their cover for the top, and I'm gonna get chain link to enclose top and bottom.
You do realize this isn't for enclosing the animal for 10 days. If you have a dangerous dog, you have to register it and enclose it for its lifetime. Not saying that your approach
No,
wouldn't work, but you said if you have,
I-
if you were told to lock up a dog for 10 days, this is a dangerous dog locked up.
Secure enclosure is also for a dog bite.
Quarantine.
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 A quarantine kennel does have to be enclosed with, a hard, a quarantine kennel does have to be quarantined with a hard cover on, it has to be solid on 3 sides.
Right.
And with just, the only thing that can be see-through is the door. And a homeowner would not be allowed that in there.
Yeah, quarantine is different.
Well,
Right,
I-
So they can
different
self-quarantine.
requirements.
They can.
But,
don't-
unless
but it
we-
would be in a-
But unless we change it or adjust it somewhere else, there are conditions where an animal can be enclosed at home.
With her, with
Within
animal
the
control,
order.
with animal control approval. Okay, but let's back up for a minute. Let's go back to secure enclosure item G. That definition, based on her conversation, she's recommending a 10 foot by 10 foot as the minimum parameter for the dog and to ensure it's able to stand. And if the dog is not able to do that within a 10 by 10 foot, is that the size we want to go with? Do we want to go a little smaller? Because you just said an 8 foot by 8 foot enclosure that you would get from
Tractor
Tractor
Supply.
Supply.
Yeah.
So is the 8 by 8 the standard at Tractor Supply is 10 by 10 as she's recommending the one we want to go with? And I'm specifically focusing on item G. We can get back to your item E conversation in a moment, please, sir.
I'd say 10 by 10.
I've never gone shopping. I'm a cat person. I don't know that. I don't go shopping for areas for dogs. I don't know what the standard is if you go to the store to get one. Is it
10 by
harder?
10 is a recommendation by our animal control officer.
All right, then I move that we add 10 in both of those highlighted areas in item G so that it reads at least 10 feet by 10 feet in perimeter.
I'll second that.
All right, I got a motion by Alderman, or excuse me, by Mayor Pro Tem Madero and a second by Alderman Tremblay to insert a 10 and a 10 so that it reads at least 10 feet by 10 feet in perimeter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Right?
That motion carries 3-1.
All right, so item E. If I'm understanding correctly, we want to strike with hard covered roof, still required to be fully enclosed on top.
I'm out.
Cause that's a different, that was a
I'm
different
out.
from the 10 by 10.
I
Yeah, I think this is an outdoor kennel.
This would be an out.
It needs to have a hard roof for, just to protect from the elements, sure. I don't think that needs to be changed.
All right, well, if you don't want to, and
Nope.
then we'll just let that go. I believe that's all the yellow areas. I did have a topic related to this ordinance changes that I wanted to discuss.
Do you have a definition question too?
Yeah.
Okay, so which section are you in, Mayor Pro Tem? And then what section are you in? CJ?
Okay, there it is, page 9 of the blue line version. Paragraph B.
Mhm.
Paragraph B2. This is talking about a litter. My concern with this and several other changes within this ordinance, particularly the stray animal one, it doesn't delineate between dogs and cats. And we have a cat neuter release program where we can have citizens that are community cat caregivers. So they're going to care for an animal, feed, water. Yanka gives her cats flea treatments even. So this ordinance means she owns those cats. But they don't go in her house. They are community cats. They keep the rats at bay. And matter of fact, one of them just had 3 kittens. We are trying to catch them and get them fixed on our own dime. We're not asking the city to pay for this. We're doing it ourselves, but we can't get them all and get them all done. So now does this mean that she has to go get a litter permit because her barn cat, which she now owns based on this, once this ordinance passed, she has to go get a litter permit for her barn cat that just had kittens? I think we need to make an exception somewhere in here that says that someone that's a community cat caregiver is exempt from these things.
Is she giving them away? So in your example, does she post
So
it?
the last cat, so what we try and do is as soon as possible, take that mother cat and all the kittens and lock it up in my workshop, somewhere where it's safe from the elements and protected, and they do not go back outside until they are fixed or they are given away. So the last batch, my daughter gave some away. I gave some to Ashley here to take and give away. One of the cats was fixed and put back outside. One of them was ear tipped, one of them was tattooed on the belly. So we're trying to, because the TNR program training, if you do the training from San Antonio, it says don't remove the community cat. That doesn't help the problem. Leave them there. So, but the problem, we can make the assumption for the community cat, but we never, and I asked this when I first got here, where's the application to be a community cat caregiver? So we need to make sure we're specifying how people are identified as community cat caregivers. In the TNR ordinance, it says you're exempt from different things within, not this ordinance, like 3 years ago version of this ordinance. So I think we need to put it in this ordinance that someone that is a community cat caregiver is the term that's used in that other ordinance, is exempt from the ownership requirement after 3 days, exempt from the litter fee.
I think you need some control. I mean, you're talking about ferals. You're gonna have someone who has 10 cats and you're gonna let them be exempt from the regulation of having to neuter.
If they're,
But they're community
Lady that
cats.
Opens the door.
Maybe,
if they're
Maybe-
community
Community
cat care, it means they're TNR trappers.
hopefully.
No.
No, that's
They're
part
not
of
just
the
feeding-
registration.
Part of the
Just feeding cats.
registration.
The
Well, it's part of the
TNR.
registration. And you capture the animals, you take them and get them fixed, you get them ears tipped,
Right.
so you don't carry an animal back to be spayed
Mhm.
10 times.
Animal Defense League tattoos them on their belly. So they're doing either nowadays, depending on where you take them. But yeah, that's part of the TNR ordinance. You're absolutely correct.
And,
Or the, whatever, community cat.
and we have, although it's inactive, we have a TNR ordinance.
We do, and we need to get the animal advisory committee, and we can help address that problem. Although they're required if they're a community cat caregiver, but we can say that they're exempt. If they notify animal control that one of the community cats has a kitten, had a litter. So then she has a organization, Austin Pets Alive, who will take the mama cat and the kittens if they're under the age of 3 months. So we can figure out how to work that in here, but I think with the number of community cats we have, we need to make sure we have a way for folks to register to be community cat caregivers, but that's a different topic. But if we start imposing litter fees and making
yeah.
them responsible for the cats, for every community cat, there's cats running all over the place. And they're already kind of apprehensive about taking on the expense and the role of trying to take care of these cats, and imposing more fees on them is not going to help with this problem. So I just throw that out there as a concern and look for ideas on how we can address it so that we don't make the community cat problem more
Worse.
complicated by imposing additional costs.
Is it in here for the litter fee, or is that just?
Yeah, that's what I just pointed
Yeah.
out.
Page-
Okay,
page
9,
nine.
D2. Any person whose female dog or cat has a litter must obtain a litter permit prior to or within 10 business days. The litter permit number shall be prominently displayed in an advertised notice posting or display of the litter for sale or trade or offers to give away any members of the litter. And I mean, why are we even doing a litter fee? They should be fined for not having their animal fixed.
I'm in agreement with that. I think this item 2,
We have an exemption where you don't have to fix your dog if it's a show dog.
I think item 2 here negates item number 1. Okay, if you have a litter, you're in violation of this ordinance, and the fine is gonna be the same. Okay,
Yeah.
So I think on our end, when we're out and about and we're trying to, deal with unwanted litters and things like that, a lot of times we have already offered assistance on helping people make appointments, on helping people, get their dogs to the appointment. And they're not doing it, which is what the litter fee would cover, not just the fee for not being spayed and neutered, but it would also be a fee for having a litter in addition to not having your dog fixed. The permit, as far as the cats go, I think there could be an exception put into the permit. Maybe the trappers could come in and get a permit so we could keep track of who is the community cat. Who they are.
They have to
TNR
register. We need to get the
They don't
TNR
register.
ordinance.
They're not registered.
Right, that's because there's no form. I asked for that form when I first moved to this town almost 3 years ago, and the form doesn't exist. So the Animal Advisory Committee will need to address that separately. So
We
that
used to
any-
have one,
so when I came and asked. there
and I'll
wasn't
have
one.
to ask and see, I mean, I'll have to check and see if
Yeah,
I
we
have
can
it.
find it, that would be great.
there was a form.
Because we had 5 cat colonies in
Yeah.
the city.
Well, that's good. So we should be making that more known, and then they're registered, and then anyone that is registered, we could absolutely authorize them to get a free litter for their community
I'm
cat.
sure there's.
So why don't we just add with the exception to cat caregivers at the end?
Community cat.
Community cat caregivers,
Well,
sorry.
but-
But I think we need to also,
If we're gonna have it in there, community cat caregivers
CPCG.
have a litter and they're going to put it on next door, they should have a permit number.
Yeah.
Okay, because if we see that Monica Madero over there is advertising, giving away cats. And she doesn't have that permit number on her advertisement, we need to go talk to her.
So we could add like
Yeah.
litter fee. Litter permit fee will be waived for registered community cat caregivers, but they still have to get it. Is that what you're
That's
suggesting?
I'm saying, if you're gonna have a litter permit, everybody needs to
Everybody needs one.
comply with that. But
if
not
they don't?
everybody needs to pay for it.
Okay,
So,
so.
I have a, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So my question is, because it's happened to me twice. 2 or 3 little stray kittens rounded up in my yard. Okay. Luckily, I have a neighbor that likes cats, but if I didn't, and I put it on next door, I now gotta come pay a fee and get a permit so I can get rid of these cats.
No, you report them as stray cats, unless you're a registered community cat caregiver.
You report them as strays.
But we're not picking up actively cats.
I think that this would be more for people whose animal have.
No, I get it.
But if you're just giving it to your neighbor and they're taking care
Not,
of it.
no.
They're
I
now a
said,
community cat.
right, no, I said the exception that I do have a good neighbor that takes them, but if I didn't, and I post it on next door, and somebody of y'all is monitoring next door and says, look, Mike's getting rid of cats.
I do see that frequently on Nextdoor where, hey, this community cat had kittens. So, I have seen that on there before.
And I'm not a CCCG. And I don't want this cat. What do I do, right, as that citizen?
Are we utilizing social media to regulate?
I mean, they're on social
Animal,
media,
but
so I
are-
mean,
I think I brought this up.
Oh,
In the
yeah,
past.
that's a good question. Are you
And,
like
and
calling
I
these
asked,
people that are giving away cats and saying?
no,
Maybe not, but we do,
is it legal?
we
I think I
don't
brought it up
use-
before. I brought it up.
I mean, you could do that for a lot of
Can,
things.
if
correct?
someone advertised, hey, I got these kittens I'm giving away, and then she goes and gives them a fine for having kittens, is that illegal, is what Alderman Trumbull.
And same thing as selling dogs. If they got dogs and they're here and they don't have a permit for litter and they're selling dogs. So rehoming, they call it rehoming,
Yeah.
for a fee. I brought it up in the past, and I think they said we could not do that.
Do we have to charge for the permit?
No. But then what's the point of the permit?
The permit would be so we can track who has. these-
Who
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but if they come in and get a litter permit and you're gonna give them a fine for not having their animal fixed, why are they gonna come get the permit?
Well, wait a minute, we're talking about 2 different things. You're talking about feral cat colony versus
My house cat got.
her house cat or the neighbor's dog that keeps having litters.
I think we need
That they're
to dig into
getting-
how to delineate on it.
Because within their statement too, litter permit shall be prominently displayed in advertisement, notice posting, or display of the litter for sale. So with that, we are saying that we are going to use social media as a means of animal control. Can we do that?
There'd have to be some personal knowledge of the person who writes the citation, who does that.
I
Does that.
I can kind of address that. There was a lady in Dallas who was fined $10,000 for advertising tamales on sale on Nextdoor. Undercover cop went in, bought some tamales, and they busted her. Okay, and that was based on somebody filing a complaint with the police about the lady advertising.
What was the problem? Because there are foods you can sell out of your kitchen.
But tamales is not one of them, sir.
I don't know what's listed, but.
Because it's got meat in it. That's the update to the new ordinance.
But the
added some
point
more
is,
of anything
somebody
with
had
meat.
made a complaint.
Yeah,
There's several things, but the big one is if a product needs to be temperature controlled,
You can't sell it.
you cannot sell it under the cottage industry law.
Okay, but we deviate from the litter discussion.
But,
Yeah.
well, what I'm addressing is his concern about
Use of social media.
using social media as.
Well, this says we're
enforcement.
gonna.
And it's legitimate, that's. If a citizen calls and complains about, these people are selling dogs, then we can respond to that, whether it comes from social media or wherever.
Yeah, well, we don't have community dog caregivers, we're talking about cats, so I think we just add in here an exception for community cat caregivers.
The litter permit fee will be waived for registered community cat caregivers.
Yeah.
And that, but then what's gonna stop someone from taking their indoor cat and saying it's now a community cat?
Well, they gotta register.
So in
Then the
section,
registered there.
section 4 of the ordinance, 3, where there's an exception of no more than 7 combination of dogs, cats, or ferrets, has language that says, except for those who are keeping, caretaking, or maintaining a colony or colonies of feral cats registered with the San Antonio Feral Cat Coalition or other organization operating a dog litter within release program. That could be language used as the exception to outlining those organizations they have to be registered with.
What we don't wanna make we still wanna make them get the litter permit though. So the only thing we're doing is,
The fee.
the litter permit fee will be waived for, and yes, that verbiage. For individuals. I think we just want them registered in Sandy Oaks. I don't think we want all that other stuff in there.
The fee for the litter, I think the fee part of it. It was like registered.
Right, that's why we're talking about putting the exception in here. So, all right, so then. We'll address this and move to add at the end of paragraph 2D in section 5. The litter permit fee will be waived for any registered community cat caregiver. For any community cat caregiver registered with the city of Sandy Oaks. I want specifically Ashley to know who they are. So the litter permit fee will be waived for any community cat caregiver registered with the city of Sandy Oaks.
Where exactly are you gonna put that?
At in section 5, so this is on page
Section
9,
5.
paragraph 2D, at the very end, the litter permit fee will be waived for community cat caregivers registered with the city of Sandy Oaks.
Okay, I have a motion by our Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Alderwoman CJ to insert at the end of section D2. The litter permit fee will be waived for CCG, for any CCG registered members?
Registered with the city of Sandy Oaks.
No,
It's a
just-
community cat caregiver is the term used in our ordinance.
Okay, so,
Registered with the city of Sandy Oaks.
okay, the litter permit fee will be waived for community cat caregivers registered with the city of Sandy Oaks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. All right. Do we want to talk about 3, where it says violation as a subsection may result in the impoundment of the dog or cat or penalty as provided? Did we discuss in here what's the penalty?
Which,
That's the one right after it. 3, right next to it. Does it address the penalty in there? That's my
The
question.
penalties are on page 32.
Oh, okay.
so we also need to decide what the litter fee is and have that added to the master fee schedule.
$100 per animal. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
What have we seen elsewhere?
Um. So on where I observed the litter permit, or the litter fee for having an unregistered litter, it was $500.
That's a fine,
That's,
that's a
yeah,
fine.
that's a fine, and they
What is
should
the
get
fee, what is the fee?
for getting the permit.
For the permit, I did not.
I mean, I don't think the permit fee should be too high, but there should be some sort of fee, and then she will nail them for not having their animal fixed.
I think the whole
Well,
idea,
I-
having,
Unless it was a show dog, right?
yeah, the whole idea of having the fee is so that you have some type of control. It's all about control, I think, you know. $40 would be adequate, I think. And
I
that's,
think if
$40.
you charge a fee, I'm not gonna talk to you at all.
that's the problem.
I'm not gonna talk to you at all, because why would I pay a fee to say, oh, I'm in violation of the paying meter law? Please take me to court and collect $500. I'm just saying. Now. The other side is if you give away the registration, people may,
Not taking seriously.
that they may cut their own throat and say, hey, yeah, this is it. Well, if they pay for the registration fee, now you got a name and an address. And you know that they're in violation of the other law. I'm,
So wouldn't a litter permit for just the feral cat caregivers make more sense in that case? In which case there would be no fee. Because like you're saying, you know,
or if.
why would you
or-
turn yourself in?
And that's what
I
I'm
agree.
saying. And if we're,
The litter fee is for an unregistered litter. So the fee part of it is that we send to have this. We send to the animal officer, have discussed with the fee for an unregistered litter. If your dog's not fixed and it has a litter of puppies, you get charged for the puppies as well. The permit would be, if your dog is pregnant, you didn't go get your dog fixed, you now have, come and get a permit, and we will charge you the litter fee, the fee for the unregistered litter. So that way, we can see, okay, this person is giving away these dogs, this is their number. Or hypothetically, their number is 0056. They're posting online that this number is 0056 when they're trying to get rid of the puppies. That way we can have some sort of documentation. Okay, this person here has an unwanted litter, they did get their dog fixed, but they came in without the permit. We're not gonna charge them that unwanted litter. That makes sense.
So do we even have an unwanted litter fee in our master schedules? I don't think we have that unwanted litter.
That's what we.
That's what she says.
I think we got a little bit. There's a few minutes of people involved. We talking about, but I think it's all of this. And,
It says prior to or within 10 business days of what? As a litter.
What's that?
Prior
What's
to,
that
oh,
for?
having the litter, they have a litter, or within 10 business days of having the litter.
What section are you in? Repetition?
I'm reading the same paragraph we were talking about before.
Okay.
Any person whose female dog or cat has a litter must obtain a litter permit prior to or within 10 business days. Okay, yeah, of the cat or dog having a litter. Yeah, I don't see why anyone would come in and get this litter permit. If they know it's gonna result in a fine.
I think if they don't get it.
But if they have a pregnant dog or cat, it means they have a dog or cat that wasn't fixed.
but what it means is they're not gonna advertise in social media. Maybe,
Well, they're gonna put them on Craigslist or
well,
whatever.
they put it on Craigslist, but, you know,
Or abandoning.
Yeah, or abandonment.
That's how I ended up with abandoned dogs, like they just significantly increased the dog dumping fine in San Antonio, so more will be coming down here. Yeah, I'm confused on why someone would come in and get a litter. Whether we charge a fee or not, why would it? Why is it in their interest? Come get a litter from them. Other than it's the law.
The only,
But we're,
when they get caught. They're gonna say, oh, I didn't know I had to do that, now they come.
That's not an excuse.
Bill
Once the
fire,
city secretary
somebody out.
publishes this in the newspaper, then we can't use that as an excuse. I didn't know.
I think it just gives us a way to monitor who actually. is giving the stuff. It's very, hard to.
But why would they
They're-
come in and
they're-
get the permit in the first place?
If
'Cause
they
now
have
you-
the permit, we're not gonna charge them the 500, whatever price it is. For having,
But they have an unfixed dog, which is a violation.
so that would be a citation, those citations, when we're talking to people, they're at our discretion to give those or not. As the animal control officer. When someone comes in and they're asking for help, hey, I have my dog's pregnant, I need to get it fixed. Me and Cassandra, the animal control officer, Cassandra, will help them make the appointment. We will give them the resources. We've been doing this and it works really well, because not only do they get their puppies vaccinated, they get them, they're surrendering the puppies to us, we're able to get them vaccinated on their dime, not on the city's. We're able to get them on a dog fixed, them on a dog is no longer an issue for us, they no longer gets pregnant, they no longer have these issues. And at that same time, we're able to microchip it and get them to get the rabies so they can find it and they don't have to do things.
So
But what's the percentage of people coming in seeking help versus the percentage of people having dogs and just dumping them or giving them away without telling you about it? Because they,
This has actually been in our favor, because before I would have to tell them, it's gonna be X amount per dog. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, why is it so much? And, when I started doing it this other way, I've had a huge increase of people willing to work with me and getting their dog. Before they were dumping their dogs because they did not want to pay the amount of money that it costs for us to take in the puppies, but once I started offering, get your dog fixed, get the shots for the puppies, we're taking them and trying to find a home, it worked out a lot better.
So should the unwanted permit, so the unwanted litter permit be really be all encompassing to say, okay, get a permit, get rid of the dogs, right? Advertise them, but by paying $200, right? Let's just say it's $200 anyhow. When it's done, we will transport it to get moved. We will right now give it microchip. We will right now get it rabies vaccinated. Right, so it's an all-encompassing permit that now they're committed, right? Like I get that it becomes expensive. But if it's really an unwanted litter that they cannot afford, either you pay the $200 now, or you're gonna pay way more than that when that litter comes through. And you've got to sit on them, you've got to feed them. You're not giving them up to us, but that dog's no longer gonna have another litter. I don't know if maybe not. Okay,
yeah, can I address,
sure.
do you feel that having a litter permit? Certificate, license, or whatever we want to call it, will improve your ability to lower the excess litter. It's a tool you can use to get modern dogs in here to be saved, then purchase. it's not gonna involve the city secretary or the police, or it's all gonna, animal control is gonna monitor it and administer these permits. Then let's give her the tool.
Do you think the litter permit should include those items that the mayor just mentioned, or do you just want it to mean that they can have this litter and then you'll work with them so that they pay for everything else separately?
Honestly, next thing is the litter of an unwanted litter permit. And we took the dog and got it fixed. I think that would solve the problem and we wouldn't have any puppies back. Because we took the dog to get fixed. I don't know.
And what's the fine? At that point, because if they had it's an unwanted litter, first they violated the ordinance by not having the dog.
No, I don't think there's a fine, right? Because you're talking about aborting the puppies or kittens. No,
I would say we charge
it's cost.
the fee
Cost is cost.
and we charge a fee of what it costs us to take this animal to get it fixed.
Okay.
This is not totally different. Maybe take that out and we work it. But we take the dog, they bring it here. My dog's pregnant. I don't want it to have puppies. We take it, get it fixed and that fee.
And that will capture enough, and then there's not people actually like wanting their dog to have the puppy.
There's a lot of people that are like, what do I do? I can't take this dog with it fixed. What do I do?
So,
Okay.
Can we get the rabies and the microchipping done at the same time?
We do the microchipping for $10. The rabies is $18, and it has to be done when they.
If they can't prove
Yeah.
that they don't have it.
So what is the cost for the pet kitting? So maybe we need to turn this back to the city attorney to rewrite this so that instead of a litter permit, instead we're writing this as an unwanted litter. And it's not even a permit at this case. If your dog or cat is pregnant and it's an unwanted litter, and they're not turning the dog over, they're providing it, again, why can't they just take it downtown and get it fixed out? But, again, just trying to make it simple. So we want to rewrite it. So instead they're not surrendering, they're submitting their dog, their cats too, or just that? Their dog or cat to animal control, and they will take care of getting chipped, microchipped, vaccinated, and fixed. And then returning the animal to the owner. And so it's an unwanted litter. And again, as Alderman Thornder asked, she thinks this will help her do her job. I think we're gonna miss a lot, but if it will help in some instances based on what she's hearing on the street. What do we?
I think it's.
So, well, I think what we need, because we can talk about that and add it to the master fee. We don't put fees in the ordinances, but I think give, Cassandra, city attorney, an opportunity to figure out how to write that.
right, item 3 in that section states that violation of this subsection will result in impoundment of the dog or penalty as prescribed by the ordinance. I mean, you basically, instead of fining them for having a dog who is not sterilized, you're basically taking their dog because they didn't do it. Now, we're gonna do it for them. They just charge them for it.
Yeah. That-
Yeah, we agreed on all this.
Yeah.
The question is, do we want to have a litter permit? For people that advertise.
I thought we had one at one time. It somehow along the line,
And
it
again,
was deleted. So
Well, that's
take
because
that.
unless your animal's a purebred, a service animal, I mean, the top of the next page has the exemptions, so you don't have to fix your dog. Or cat, if it's purebred, a service animal, or some licensed vet says you can't.
And that goes all the way back to where this discussion started with, I think. They're at 2 years, but, 5 years.
Judy should just be deleted.
I think it's totally the case. Item number 1.
Yeah, if we're gonna start giving permits, why are we even?
I'm making a motion. We can move on.
What?
Yeah, paragraph 2, the total contradicts 1 and 3 both. Once it only applies to those listed in the exception in paragraph 4.
I believe I've heard about it from the city before, but in 9 years I've heard it. 11 years, I don't remember everybody getting those little permit. So, I think it's extra further out. If as far as the old, the.
And we just need to figure out some other way for you to be able to provide the service that you want to. I don't know why we should use city resources to drive somebody else's dog to town to get it fixed. I mean, give them the information and say, here, make your dang appointment, borrow my phone, make a phone call, here you go. Now get your dog down there and get it fixed,
Or,
especially since it includes the vaccine.
or here's the fee, or here's our, our
So,
violation.
so do we need to order?
Yeah,
Doesn't sound like it.
okay. We're talking about section 5. Item C2. I agree to remove that item. In its entirety. And read number the rest of the paragraph.
I second.
I have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Tremblay to remove in section D, item number 2, and it's in its entirety and as amended. And renumber the remaining paragraphs. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Alderman Walker, did you have a question about one of the other definitions?
Yeah.
I heard them all. Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe this can be clarified for me. Under dangerous dog, the definitions for dangerous dog.
What page are you on then?
Top of page 3.
Thank you.
I get the A is regarding an attack on a person. B is regarding being placed in an enclosure, etc. But I don't see anything on here about a dog that is owned by someone else that wipes out your chicken coop or bites your dog, which happened in my yard,
Then that other
Uh-huh.
person's dog is, then that dog that did that's considered a dangerous dog.
but we don't have that in the definition. Yeah,
So it makes no attack on the person or dog,
Person or animal,
No.
personal animal. Yeah, animal.
person or
our
pet,
there.
person, that's what you're saying. So
Correct.
dangerous dog, and I think these definitions came from the Texas code, deferred, so can we modify that and add it to include and put the attack
Or
on?
does it need to be
Because I
a
do see a lot
separate?
of people commenting about dogs attacking
Right.
their chickens and
Yeah,
killed my whatever.
yeah. My neighbor had 2 dogs killed from him.
I thought there was an aggressive dog, so there's a difference between a dangerous dog and aggressive dog. Which are different, but I don't think the ordinance addresses.
I don't see aggressive dog. I think
Yeah,
we need
I
to
think-
address a dog that's coming in.
I think Ashley and I talked about at one point, like making that delineation also,
Can we get that from the state ordinances? Do you think?
aggressive dog. For us was dangerous, but other cities talk about aggressive dogs and handling them differently.
And we can't just add it to the dangerous dog definition here. Makes an unprovoked attack on the person not having to touch that, so that's how we should use.
I think if you do, when somebody takes you to court, the our definition of dangerous dogs is good align with the state definition.
We're not citing the state definition in here, so we can define things
So,
differently, that's, yeah, maybe.
Well,
if we're discussing there is a difference between an aggressive dog and a dangerous dog, then we should define aggressive dog.
Right, but the state doesn't define aggressive dog, so we'd be fine with defining that ourselves.
Not, but we have the power.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So this, your concern that you just expressed about me suggesting we change this definition won't apply to aggressive dog.
They would not apply to aggressive dog. However, I would say under state law, that a dog that is off attack someone's dog in their yard, that dog should be stopped. The state law says that you have that right.
You the third firearm within the city limits.
No, ma'am. That's an intention to discharge it to city limits.
So I guess we need to find a definition for aggressive dog. You've seen that in,
I remember looking, seeing it in course. And I think I still have it in my office. I didn't get that.
so Alderman Walker, would that address your concern then about?
I believe so, depending on the definition.
Well, I do believe that you need definitions for aggressive dogs because an aggressive dog is not the same as a dangerous dog.
Correct.
A dangerous dog will just jump over the fence and eat you up. An aggressive dog may take you down the street, but
People that didn't use an aggressive dog, not a dangerous.
I'm gonna tell you, if the dog bites me, it's a dangerous dog and I'm gonna put him down. But let there be no respect. And I know that.
Yeah, here
Yeah,
also
but
talks about seizure of a dog causing death, or serious bodily injury to a person. So again, they delineate between a person and an animal.
And you'll find that the health and safety code doesn't the exact definition in place like this.
Yeah, but we'd also need to add some other stuff within the ordinance about what we do with aggressive dogs, even if we add the definition, and that in itself is not sufficient. So what other things are you?
In Texas, an aggressive dog or more actively a dangerous dog is generally defined as a dog that has without provocation caused injury to a person or committed unprovoked attacks that lead to a person.
You just
Wrongly
wrongly
lead
put
to
in
the
the
wrong
wrong.
Right.
But we need to somehow address within the ordinance, besides just a definition, your concern about dogs that go on to other people's
Cause
property.
I've seen that before, huh?
Right,
And is that something that should be included in this ordinance?
like City of San Antonio has dangerous dogs, and then if they define aggressive dogs, they have different levels for aggressive dog behavior.
doesn't even include attaching animals on other people's property,
Yes, that's the level 3.
under aggressive dog.
Under an aggressive dog. Like a level 1 is the belief that a dog may attack the cage. Level 2 is an attack on animals or livestock. Level 3 is animals or livestock. Okay, circumstances.
But then what do they do with that definition of aggressive dog within the ordinance? What are the consequences of owning an aggressive dog or having an aggressive dog that attacks? Can we incorporate all of that into this ordinance or I think we should discuss.
Yeah, I think we can incorporate into the ordinance, like they have just a license by the trip enclosures, sprints, fine. But, and then the dangerous dog is in the state laws. We don't have.
Right. So the aggressive dog is different requirements than the dangerous dog. So,
For example,
Well-
a dangerous dog needed liability.
It's here for a couple of times. An aggressive dog. It's outside of the property.
Right,
yeah, the-
You can't. If that dog is enclosed on the owner's property. You can't file a charge of that's an aggressive dog.
it has to be the dog came off the owner's property and did something.
Dogs off the owner's property. Yeah. We define aggressive dogs. Then we can, what do you want to do about it? Well, one, I'm gonna give you a citation for animal that's lost. That's number one. You're gonna get a ticket for animal at large. And I think we need a whole lot more of those. Okay. Number two, if your animal attacks and kills somebody else's animal, that dog should not be returned to that owner.
So Alderwoman Walker, in terms of what city attorneys just found within the San Antonio ordinance, what are your thoughts in terms of that in addressing your concern?
I would think that would be appropriate.
City of Fort Worth has really good definitions of dangerous and aggressive dogs.
But I think before we pass this ordinance, we need to refer it back to for the addition of aggressive dogs. And more school book definition. We can discuss applicable actions to take about aggressive dogs.
Yeah, we need to see those. So, I. Here's the first one. Maybe give the city attorney time to read the question that Alderwoman Walker presented.
I also like to mix things through. While we're talking about this, I think we need to address the mission of the animal that's left.
We don't have one? Animal neglect, right here. Failure of an owner, caretaker, or custodian of an animal to provide proper food, water, veterinary care, shelter, and socialization.
Now, I think that a person completely enforce the animal neglect should not be allowed to license a pet, microchip or own a pet in the city of San Diego for the next 5 years. And the second offense would be permanent, ban of pet ownership.
That would be added to the engine of criminal penalties and enforcement.
Correct.
I don't disagree with that. Convicted, not discharged, but
Right. And I'll tell you why I say this.
oh, you asked me for that.
Well, I'm saying let's just make this. And let me tell you why I say this. Animal cruelty, when we file a charge of animal cruelty, those that have been at this for a while recognize it's a nightmare for the city.
What is animal cruelty?
the charge of animal cruelty different, because it's no longer a fact we listed there. We can't handle it in our court. It has to be
Yeah,
referred
I
to
understand all
district
that,
court.
yeah, I was just trying to
We
confirm
have
what
to
you were
keep-
talking about.
We
Yes, sir.
have to
I'm very
keep
much
the
aware of that.
victim animal in our
Yep.
facility until the judge says, put it down, return it, or
Yes,
whatever.
sir, I know all this.
Okay. If we have animal neglect,
It's the fine, we have it.
okay, and there's a conviction in our court, we don't need to keep that animal, we don't need to get a judge's order. Well, he will have the option of how he wants to treat it. But we should give him some options besides, a $500 fine. Because he says, you cannot own a pet for the next 5 years. And actually sees him with dogs in the next 5 years. We can take some other action. The judge has a lot of attitude about things here.
So I moved to have the city attorney go back and make those, amendments based on the motions that were passed. And to research and add the aggressive animal definition and, consequences portion, to our ordinance.
What was the last part?
The aggressive animal
Aggressive animal.
definition and the consequences of owning an aggressive animal.
A second.
And then bring it back at the next meeting for review.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Madero and a second by Alderwoman CJ to authorize the attorney or to approve the amendments that were, to include the amendments that were made previously into the animal control ordinance and to add or to research and add the definition of aggressive animal as well as to define the consequences, which is to be discussed at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Is that a decent summary? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Motion carries, we can move along. Since let's just keep going down the list and then we'll finish. We'll circle back to A, so. 7C, I wanted to provide you an update. This is the Mr. and Mrs. Kanapke that came by to discuss their driveway. Me and our city engineer, Jess Swain, met at the location and reviewed the property. In his opinion, it wasn't as bad as he thought it was, or what it was made out to be, but there is still some room for some repair. He did mention that it is likely due to runoff from their property. That causes the erosion of the driveway. And I mean, he provided a couple of options, which is basically to kind of build up their driveway and then fill it with additional aggregate, or to, you know, really place a sawtooth curb and then again, placing more aggregate, right? So the problem is water comes off the roof, comes down their driveway, and it ends up in the street and takes the road base with it, right? The aggregate with it. What he's recommending is either put railroad ties to build it up, or to do some cement work and build in a proper curb to then allow which would prevent the aggregate from spilling over.
The owners were implying that this wasn't a problem prior to whatever
It was
construction.
not.
I can say that I went out there
It,
when this first.
they lived there 20 years. They built up their driveway with railroad ties to such a height that the water didn't drain out of their yard and undermine their driveway. Okay, but this is not an owner caused issue, it's a contractor caused issue.
I thought this stated that it wasn't caused by the contractor.
It
No,
was.
the contractor and the somewhat engineer in charge of the project said it's not our fault.
But this is
Okay.
just
This
saying,
was a different
But
engineer.
Jess
Yeah.
went out here, how long ago after, the issue? I mean, he went and he saw what actually what damage that was caused by the runoff. Yes, I agree with that. But if you look in their driveway, I don't know, there's a piece of concrete sticking up. As you walk to their mailbox,
Mhm.
when you open their gate, that concrete is sticking that far out of the ground. They didn't see that before the construction occurred. So they took out some material when they did their work. They just didn't put it back.
Okay, but we can't hold the contractor that did the.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're long
the
gone.
So, like,
water is gone.
We owe it to these citizens to pay to remedy the situation that the contractors we hired caused, that this, even regardless of what this document says, this was caused by the contractor the city hired to do the work. Is that accurate? Okay, so how are we gonna help these people?
I would recommend that we authorize the mayor to talk to the two contractors that were recommended. And a third contractor of his choice. Get their recommendations on methodology and price. And authorize the expenditure not to exceed $7,000 for the repair of the driveway.
I don't think we need to put concrete down in the driveway. It was aggregate to begin with. The option B there, patient railroad ties and filling with additional aggregate. It's the cheapest way to do it. I mean, we don't need to go in and do
Well,
an improvement per se. We need to correct the situation, at least put it back to what it was originally.
Why don't we just authorize the mayor to get the 3 quotes and bring it back to us, and then we can make a decision. on what's the
Basically need
appropriate
one
amount.
more, I guess, one more option.
But this isn't.
Yeah, they're not a quote, they're not.
This isn't a quote, this is
It's
an
an
estimate on what
an
this
engineer.
engineer thinks, and then he recommended to contractors that could actually give a quote.
Yeah.
So I say, just contact these two and one more of your choice and bring back 3 quotes so we can discuss whether we want to go with the more expensive option or the cheaper option. So,
get your first vote, and if it's under $10,000, just get a second vote. We don't even need 3 under 10.
that's true.
So do we have an idea? Do we want to get, just hear me out, do we want to get Brandy and Lenny to provide quotes for both A and B?
Yeah,
Okay,
Or let them propose what they think is best. Don't even tell them what the solution on it. Just say, here's the problem. What do you propose we do to fix it?
okay,
Because they might even come up with other
another
options.
solution.
Yeah, you don't never,
Sure.
never tell a program what the solution is. You
Oh.
just tell them, here's my problem.
Right.
How do you propose to fix it?
So do we even need to address the comment about, the fences along the property line are probably
fences
going to
are-
fail?
That's always
That's
been.
not
what's
an
been.
issue. Fences aren't an issue, it's the driveway, so.
Did the contractor have any
Just give it to-
warranty or performance bond or anything?
We're well past that. The original one, yeah. And we've gone out there with them.
Yeah.
So when they mentioned that we've done nothing, we've gone out there previously with the original engineer and the contractor. And granted, they said they've done everything that they thought was correct. But
Let's just get a couple quotes and get these people some resolution at our next meeting if we can.
okay. Oh, right. All right. So then that takes care of C. So then we can move to, I believe, our final item of today. Discuss our possible action by record vote on amending ordinance 2025-259, adopting the levying of ad valorem taxes for the use and support of the municipal government for the city of San Diego, Texas, for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, ending September 30th, 2026, to correct the clerical error in the calculation of the maintenance and operations tax from 0.290103 to 0.313903. Note the amendment does not change the total ad valorem tax rate provided in the published notice of tax rate increase and adopted by the council on September 11, 2025, which is 0.341800 on each $100 valuation of property for the 2025 tax year. Should have just let you calculate those numbers. We wouldn't have been here today with this one, because you had stopped me on it and I know, and it was 0.318. And our number was 0.3418. So I don't know what I did when I grabbed those numbers, but
I asked her,
yeah,
you're a numbers guy.
I am a numbers guy, man. But I tell you what, I guess copy and paste on Excel doesn't help.
So
This
why do we have
document
to-
says
why do we have to do
0.313.
this? Right.
But this one says 0.313. Is that correct?
313903.
Just before we read it, is that correct? Just asking. Alderman Felder, does that look right to you? Is this the right number? Because you just said 0.34. This says 0.31.
Oh, I think he's talking about the total liability.
I know, I just
Okay.
want to make sure. We don't come back yet again.
I know, well, we don't have time for it, so. We won't. Yep, so we would do the motion on the M and O of 313903 plus the, huh,
What does M and O stand for?
maintenance and operations.
That's it. Maintenance and operation, that's the point for you more.
Okay, so this says maintenance and support in the right reading you're supposed to do, so M and F didn't match an M and O, so why am I asking that? So this ordinance gonna be 263?
Yep. Because one was the animal shelter, two was the animal control, right?
But we haven't done anything with it yet. So
No, I
should
know,
we
but-
put two on this one?
Nah, we can just hold that one
Okay.
and then that way. And then this will be 263, yep. If you look in section 2. That's where it's probably easier described for the maintenance and support of general government, general fund,
Okay.
0.31.
So 0.290103 was also incorrect.
That was correct originally, yeah.
Because it's crossed out here in section 2.1.
Right, so because that one's incorrect, right?
290103 is incorrect,
Right,
and it should be 313.
correct. And then between the 313903 and the 0.027897 equals the 0.3418.
Okay.
You need a motion on.
Yep.
this.
Correct.
All right, I move the city council approve an ordinance adopting a tax rate of 0.313903 on each $100 valuation of property be used for maintenance and support of the general government of the city of Sandy Oaks for the 2025-2026 fiscal year upon all property, real, personal, and mixed, within the corporate limits of said city, subject to taxation, and such tax rate be adopted by ordinance.
I have a motion by Alderwoman CJ. Do I have a second?
The second,
Second by Alderman Fillinger. Now we will move into a record vote. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay,
I'm still trying to sort this out.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes the number 290103 is crossed out and sometimes it's not.
Where do you see it wasn't?
The last paragraph on the first page. Tax rate increase.
isn't that 0.02?
0.02.
So it should be, I do see it in the second whereas on the second page.
I'm looking at the red line version.
Oh,
The very,
yeah, the 0.027897, that's correct. Is that the one you're looking at?
whereas the city
Right here.
council held a public
Oh.
hearing on the tax rate increase on September 11th, 2025, and by separate motions adopted an ordinance allocating the tax
Because
rate.
it did, we did
And I
adopt it.
said- Okay, so this is saying what we did
Right,
previously.
correct.
Okay, so that's why it's not crossed out. And then it's again here. The second whereas on the second page. In place of, put this 313903 in place of 290. Okay, so that's saying, this is what we did before, now let's fix it to be this. Okay, I just, sorry,
No, you're
trying to
good.
make sure we got it right this time.
The last time.
So that makes sense now, thank you, I'm sorry.
No need to. All right, so then we do have a motion by Alderwoman CJ and a second by Alderman Fillinger. Let's do a record vote. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes,
Alderman Fillinger,
yes,
Alderman Tremblay.
Yes.
Alderman Rapino is absent and Alderwoman Walker.
Yes,
Okay. So the motion for the city council to approve an ordinance adopting a tax rate of 0.3193 on 03 on each $100 valuation of property be used for the maintenance and support of the general movement of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas for the 25-26 fiscal year upon all property, real, personal, and mixed within the corporate limits of of said city, subject to taxation, and such tax rate be adopted by ordinance has been approved. So that motion carries. Then we would just need the motion on the ordinance.
all right, I move the city council amend ordinance number 2025-259 and adopt ordinance number 2025-263, adopting and levying levying ad valorem taxes for the use and support of the municipal government of the city of Sandy Oaks, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026, to correct an error in the calculation of the tax rate used for the maintenance and support of the general government of the city.
second,
All right, I have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem and a second by Alderman Fillinger. We'll move to a record vote. Mayor Pro Tem Madero,
Yes.
Alderman Fillinger,
yes,
Alderman Tremblay,
Yes.
Alderman Rapino is absent. Alderwoman Walker.
yes,
Okay, the motion to amend ordinance number 2025-259 and adopt ordinance number 2025-263 carries. And if I scratched all my notes off correctly, I think we just need one more motion, no?
Move to adjourn.
It is now 9:01, right? 9:01, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
I don't care if your nuts are scratched or not.
You done made the motion.